if you really want to build something, because again, my goal when I started this was to control my own schedule and to maximize my income, but also was my goal not to have to sell life insurance for the rest of my life. And when I was 37, I was diagnosed with atrial fibrillation and cardiomyopathy. So I'm on the drugs that you guys always hear about. I'm on Metropolo, I'm on Ramipril, I'm on Xarelto, right? So you're like, oh, I hear about those on the phone every day, and I don't qualify for much life insurance. But when I was 30 years old, I got a life insurance policy. It was a term policy for 20 years. So I always kind of had this clock ticking in my head that I got to get this thing figured out by the age of 50, because at the age of 50, that policy was going to term out. And no longer was my family going to have that protection, that life insurance I got before I had my heart problem. So I always had this clock ticking in my head that I had to get this thing figured out and, have the option to go into the field if I wanted to. And I've never come out of the field, literally, never 100%, because I still sell policies and run policies today, run appointments today. But I wanted to get myself in a position where I didn't have to go sell life insurance. My name is Eric Schmidt, and good to see so many familiar faces on here and some new faces as well. Thank you for joining us here live. I'm in Uncasville, Connecticut today, and super excited to share some thoughts and take a little time to give you some thoughts that kind of go into my head about being a business owner and a lot of the mistakes that I've made over these short 4 years that I've been with Family First Life, and some things that I think we've got figured out and getting pushed in the right direction. So first off, thank you, Family First Life. Thank you, Family First Life staff here, most of them right here in Uncasville, Connecticut. Without them, all of our jobs would be much more challenging. Thank you to all of my FFL partners. Appreciate you more than you know. And thank you, Eric Anthony, and thank you, Sean Mike, for believing in me and thinking that I could do this and be have the opportunity to support my family. So thank you for everyone. So a little bit more than 4 years ago, I was introduced to this amazing opportunity. As Mark Mead said, this beautiful opportunity. And when done correctly, it is a beautiful opportunity. And when done not correctly, it is definitely punitive. And hopefully some things that I share with you all today and some mistakes that I've made and some good decisions that I made can help you guys start to make you a more profitable agency, whether you're an agency of one or you're an agency of many, many, many. And, hopefully start to create a stronger foundation for your base shop where we can continue to build that up and grow in width and then, and in depth and make it a hugely profitable agency. So real quick about me, I spent the first 23 years of my working life in the automotive business, for those that don't know, and it provided very well for my family for more than 2 decades. Unfortunately, as I've been married almost 26 years. I'll be 26 years this August, but unfortunately, the car business, that retail business and being inside a showroom, at least for me, there's other jobs out there, but that was the piece that I was in, and being inside that showroom for 65, 75 hours a week really started to chip away at the time that I had with my wife and my 3 kids. And as the kids got older and the activities got bigger and bigger games and bigger dance recitals and swim meets and lacrosse and coaching basketball and coaching football, I needed to find something that was going to be able to allow me to take full control of my schedule. And as the name says, put my family first on the schedule first and have work surround it, right? So I was in desperate need of that. My marriage, though, never, got way out of control. There was definitely some pressure on Carrie and I to figure out a way where we could stay happily married, but still be able to provide for our family at a very high level. So I needed to find something that was going to allow me to control my schedule. And I remember like it was yesterday, October, November 2018, reaching out to Eric Anthony and calling him on Facebook Messenger because I didn't even have a good phone number for him. And thankfully he answered, and we had the opportunity to talk about this. And I met with Sean here in Uncasville, and he's like, dude, I don't know if you're going to be good at this or if you're going to suck at it, but you know, the sooner you get your license, the sooner we can figure it out. But it is going to take some sacrifice and take some dedication. But he laid out, hey, what do you want and what do you need? And he had me put that on 2 pieces of paper, and I figured that out. And I think the biggest thing for me that it was tough for me to give up in the beginning was my ego. I was 48 at the time. I'm 51 now. And he said, you can have a big ego or you can have a big business, but you cannot have both. So I definitely had to get that figured out early on. And I consider myself a good husband and a good dad, but you know, sometimes, you know, a little bit rough around the edges. So I had to get rid of that ego so I could create and build my business up from the bottom. I think as a producer, I made a whole lot of mistakes, especially in the beginning. I made things really transactional in the beginning of my production career here at Family First Life. And, you know, when I went into the home, I just wanted to find a way to get them a policy and get out of there as soon as possible. I didn't really, and building rapport isn't a big thing. We can do that during the e-application, but really caring for the client and letting them know that I care and investing in their story and investing in their beneficiary and their reasons why they filled out that request for coverage. And then putting it together a good follow-up system with a thank you card and text and emails and follow-up phone calls, not maybe once a year, but, you know, every 30, 60, 90 days. You know, without clients, we don't have a business, right? So I did a really poor job in the beginning on connecting with them and letting them know that I really wanted to be their insurance agent, insurance broker for life. Again, my goal was to control my schedule and to maximize my income. And I wanted to make sure that these clients knew that I cared enough for them, that I was always going to be there for them. So I did a really poor job in the beginning. That gave me some really, really bad persistency. And obviously with poor persistency comes chargebacks. So I can't stress enough, as we're building a profitable agency, that your clients know that you care, all right, and you love for them, and you want to be there on the darkest day that their family's going to have, whether that's a terminal illness or passing, you know, or whatever it is like that. So we talked about follow-up system. There's a lot of great follow-up systems out there, including our own Integrity Lead Center and our CRM, but there's a lot of great systems out there that I would encourage you guys to reach up to whoever you need to find out about some of those great systems or how people are doing that at a high level. I did a really poor job on doing annual reviews. I don't know if I just took them for granted or something cool to talk about when I was writing the policy and doing the application, that, hey, I'm going to be following up with you every 12 months, but I just never did it. So I did a really, really poor job with that. So now, fast forward, you know, I'm really working my book of business diligently because there's a lot of opportunity inside that book of business. I did a really bad job on asking for referrals. And there's a lot of people in our company that do an amazing job. And I'm thankful so much for them, watching their podcasts and watching their trainings on how they ask for referrals and how they kind of get that first referral even before they leave the household, by connecting with the beneficiary even before they leave the home, and being that the first referral, and really maximizing every dollar that they invested in that lead, whether it was a warm market lead or, you know, a $100 lead, you know, taking full advantage of that. And, you know, again, working towards that profitability of the agency. I think, you know, getting those referrals is really what's going to drive your profitability, because you don't have to buy all these extra leads if you're getting 4 or 5 leads minimally for each home that you're in. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. I did a really poor job on asking the golden question. And even though it's right on my worksheet here, I did a really poor job of asking, what else do you have that acts like life insurance to offset this, that, or the other thing? So that simple retirement solution question, has to be asked, should be asked. You're doing a disservice to yourself, your agency, and your client if you're not asking. And I did a really poor job of not asking that. And it's funny, when I did, there would always be something there. They would bring up some type of other conversation, or maybe it would create more leverage on why they needed to get coverage while I was there, because they didn't have anything else that acted like life insurance, like a 401k or a 403b or TSP or SEP or something like this. So I did I know I'm telling you guys all the things I did poorly because I don't want you to do them. I want you guys to avoid these things as you continue to build a profitable agency. So one thing that I probably took too long on was adding staff. So after you're a consistent 30 families health producer, you should be looking into getting your first staff, right? So they can start doing the things that you're not good at. If you're not good at, following up with your clients, or being on hold with, these carriers for, so much time, or, making sure that your license, is updated in the states that it needs to be updated, you should be looking into getting some type of staff, some kind of staff somewhere, whether it's in person or whatever, remotely, then looking to make your business flow smoother. Okay. I always wanted to make sure that I was way ahead on my cash flow. So it was important that my family, I had a big conversation with my kids and my wife when I first started this deal, that for the first several months, I'm probably going to be working harder than I've ever worked in the past, so I can make sure this thing ends up to where I want to make sure that it ends up to. And that conversation is important, whether it's with your parents, your partners, your staff. I mean, not your staff, but your kids, whomever's in your life, to make sure that they know what these next few, several months are going to look like. So make sure you have that conversation. Big mistake that I didn't make because someone told me ahead of time to make sure that I didn't make that mistake and talk to my family. So making sure that you're really far ahead on your cash flow, okay? You want to make sure that you're so far ahead in your cash flow with your personal bills that when opportunities come up in business, you can say yes. So I always wanted to be in a position of yes. So when a new lead opportunity opened up, I could say yes. When a new marketing opportunity opened up, I could say yes. And when I first started looking at an office, I could say yes. And I started to look at everything as a policy. So if I wanted an office, that was a policy a month. If I wanted staff, that was a policy a week. If I wanted to do recruiting leads and that was $2,000 a month, it was 2 policies a month. I started connecting everything with a policy, right? So that's just, that just helped with my brain, that helped with my mind, how I was doing things. I think really big, so, definitely look at staff. Okay. And it's always going to take you a little bit longer than you think to get the right person. Okay. And I'll kind of talk about this right now, and you'll know really quickly, probably within the first 30 days, if it is the right person. And asking the right questions up front, that, because, really when you add staff, you're looking for a business partner, because this person's going to know a lot about you personally, professionally. They're going to be spending a lot of time with you. So you want to make sure that you're in alignment with what they're looking to get out of this opportunity as a job, because it's going to be a 1099 or a W-2 job for them, and what it looks like, for them, right? You want to make sure you guys are on the same page. I was not good at doing books or doing accounting or taxes or anything like that. So you want to make sure that you have some good people in your corner when it comes to doing those types of things. Just talking about being profitable, right, and making good decisions. I was always a sole proprietor all the way up until I became a partner with Integrity. I never did anything Schedule C or corporate. Not that that's wrong or indifferent. I just never did it. That's not what was suggested to me. So I just kept on running hard. I did get 2 separate checking accounts and a separate credit card. I kept that separate, but that was important to remain profitable and making good decisions. So I think on the on a profitability spot and becoming really diligent on, going to that last appointment. I ran weekends. I ran every weekend, every Saturday, every Sunday. I ran appointments. Again, I didn't miss anything with my family, so I don't want to like blow this out of proportion that I worked all 168 hours a week, but I worked on the weekends because that's when people are home. My closing ratio, my show rate, my profitability, my referrals, when I started asking for them towards the end, were always much higher on my weekend sales. Always much higher on my weekend appointments. During the week, a million things, can come up, especially as a parent like I am. I know they can come up. So I always ran Saturday and Sunday, never missed it, and always, door knocked. And on those weekends, it just really made me much more profitable in the beginning. Switching to the recruiting side, and let's talk about, kind of selling versus recruiting. So selling, you get that instant gratification, right? You buy leads last night, Sunday, you buy leads last night, you call them today, and you run them today, tomorrow, Tuesday, if you're doing telesales or in-home, whatever. Instant gratification. That money will draft at the end of the week, and we'll get paid. That money will be in our bank account in the next 3, 4, 5 days. Instant gratification, right? Ooh, that feels good. Now, can you switch your mind to the recruiting side, okay, where it's not instant gratification? Andrew Taylor shared this a long time ago with me. We were down in Florida and we were talking about it. And let's say you're selling 2 policies a month, okay, so you can spend $2,000 a month on some type of recruiting campaign if you're going to be doing that. Okay, again, there's a lot of different ways to skin a cat, but let's just say you're doing that. And let's say you spend $24,000 business expense over 12 months for that recruiting campaign. You're not going to get that instant gratification of that $24,000 or that $34,000 or $48,000 back instantly, right? Because we're recruiting, right? Especially if we're recruiting cold market, especially if these people are not licensed yet. It's going to take time, right? So I did some math real quick, and let's just say the typical recruiting campaign, a couple $1,000s a month, yields you 175 leads. Again, we could be a plus or minus here a couple, but 10, 11 bucks a lead, okay? And let's say that's 2,100 leads over the course of a year, okay? Let's say that yields you 2 30K producers, okay? 2 $30,000 producers that's issuing $360,000 a year at a 10, 15% override. You're going to more than double your investment. If that makes sense, you guys can do the math and see if I did it wrong, but at a 10, 15% override, that's $40,000, $50,000 in override from 0.1 producers out of those 2,100 leads. Okay. So, you start thinking about that math. Obviously, it's a longer game, right? And who knows what those 30K producers can build as long as I can teach them to do and they can teach them to do, right? So when you start looking at, if you really want to build something, because again, my goal when I started this was to control my own schedule and to maximize my income, but also was my goal not to have to sell life insurance for the rest of my life. And when I was 37, I was diagnosed with atrial fibrillation and cardiomyopathy. So I'm on the drugs that you guys always hear about. I'm on Metropolo, I'm on Ramipril, I'm on Xarelto, right? So you're like, oh, I hear about those on the phone every day, and I don't qualify for much life insurance. But when I was 30 years old, I got a life insurance policy. It was a term policy for 20 years. So I always kind of had this clock ticking in my head that I got to get this thing figured out by the age of 50, because at the age of 50, that policy was going to term out. And no longer was my family going to have that protection, that life insurance I got before I had my heart problem. So I always had this clock ticking in my head that I had to get this thing figured out and, have the option to go into the field if I wanted to. And I've never come out of the field, literally, never 100%, because I still sell policies and run policies today, run appointments today. But I wanted to get myself in a position where I didn't have to go sell life insurance. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. So I started recruiting and sharing this opportunity in the beginning. I brought, again, in 2008, 2009, Instagram wasn't as hot as it is now. So I immediately increased my Facebook to the max, 5,000 friends, 4,900 and change. And then started getting more active on social media, on Instagram. LinkedIn is a different type of recruiting method, but I'm also very active on LinkedIn. But when is a good time to recruit? Okay, and one of my early mentors in this age in this business and family first life said, you are your best recruiter. Now so a mistake. Here's a mistake. I hired a recruiter. Okay, no one's going to recruit better than you in this deal. Period. End of conversation. No one's going to be able to explain the opportunity, explain the challenges, explain how simple it is, explain that it's not easy. Okay, no one's going to be able to do that better than you. So I would challenge you to hire staff to help with the things that you don't like, but recruiting shouldn't be one of them. Okay, because you need recruiting as a producer in this deal, because if you need to resell yourself on this opportunity, because maybe you just had 3 no-shows, maybe you just had a cancel, maybe you just had a one leg, and in between all that, someone called and canceled the policy that they bought from you yesterday, you're going to need something to build yourself back up and resell this opportunity to yourself, right? After you leave a family, and maybe you sold husband and a spouse a policy, you got 3 referrals, and you did 2 children's whole life policies, you're leaving that appointment super high, right? You're like, ooh, yeah, and I challenge the world out there. What a better time to call a recruiting lead, right, that you have on your passenger seat or here on your desk and say, hey Bob, this is Eric. Looks like you reach out to us looking at the opportunity here at Family First Life. So there's never a bad time to do it, because you're going to need both, right? You're going to have it to check yourself on emotions. If your emotions are getting really high, you're going to have to bring yourself up if your emotions are kind of low. So there's never a bad time to share this opportunity. Whenever you're having good service, you're at a car wash, gas station, grocery store, diner, restaurant, there's never a good opportunity, that hospitality people facing, they're already facing people on a regular. Those are great opportunities if you meet someone and you like their attitude and you like their personality, to say, hey, is this the only thing you do? And you hear Sean Mike talk about it all the time, how he's always introducing it to people wherever he's at. So there's never a bad time to do that. We're going to talk about the type of agent that we're looking for here in a moment, but I just wanted to share this. There's never a bad time. If you look at how many contacts, and this is something that Mark Mead did with myself and a couple other agents the other day, if you look at how many contacts are in your phone, you probably have hundreds of contacts in your phone. I actually have over 5,000 contacts in my phone, which I didn't even know. Mark's like, how many contacts do you have in your phone? And he showed me how to do it. And I went to the bottom of the iPhone page and it was like 5,391. I'm like, holy moly. He goes, those people, you have to bring them, like Trey Honeycutt says, you have to bring them from not knowing to knowing, right? And maybe this is the right opportunity for them, or maybe they know someone that might be looking for a better opportunity. But typically you can find those people right in your phone. They're literally already sitting in your phone, and all you have to do is just click onto them. Just looking at my notes, I think, yeah, so before an appointment, after an appointment is great times to recruit. And also, I find Sunday nights is a good night to recruit, especially if people are going back to their W-2. They're going back to their 7 to 4, 8 to 4, 9 to 5, or maybe they're working third shift or something like this. Sunday nights is typically a great time to recruit because people are kind of just sitting back, they're relaxed, they're thinking about the job that they're going to tomorrow that they don't want to go. They're trying to remember the last excuse they gave so they could go in sick or skip a day. They're like, oh, I know, but I already used that excuse. I can't use. So that's a great time to call them up and just say, hey, Bob, this is Eric, and I just saw you in my contacts. I was thinking about you for a while and just wanted to see if, you were open to, blah, 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 blah. Great opportunity to do that at that time. Okay. But I think, really having a healthy obsession about this business is really what drives me every single day to get better and to provide more for my family and share this opportunity with more people. I wake up thinking about this. I go to bed thinking about this. This is my 24/7. You ever go to that pizza place and the guy's always there? Well, he's the owner, right? And this guy Antonio, he's a pizza place owner near my house. I'm like, Antonio, he always says, hey, how you doing? And Antonio, I said, dude, you're always here. He goes, dude, I make the pizza. I make the orders. If without this place doesn't go. So, I'm always on, guys. I'm always thinking about this opportunity. Obviously, yes, I spend time with my wife and I have fun with my kids, but we get 168 hours a week. Um, and I take advantage of it, to make this the best opportunity we can. Um, if you are challenged in this opportunity, if you're like, hey, I'm stuck at 50,000 a month, I'm stuck at 200,000 a month, I'm stuck at 500,000 a month. How can I get this to the next level? If you're already not reaching up, to your manager or to other, there's so many amazing people, and we're all in one team. Okay, so if you need to reach out to someone that's in a different agency, a different hierarchy, anybody like that, reach out to these people. They are available. They want to talk to you. They're not that busy to try to help us grow. We're all in this thing to help this thing grow and get to $1 billion. Stay disciplined. One thing I did poorly in the beginning is I thought waking up at 6:37 was early. That's not waking up early. Okay, so wake up early. Challenge yourself to wake up early. Get more things done. You follow Sean, you follow Alex, and these other people on social media. I mean, these guys and ladies, they are not sleeping in late. They are getting stuff done regardless of what happened the night before. Okay. So I think those are all the notes and all the things that I had. A couple of things, guys, and hopefully you got something out of this. I've made so many mistakes and I've done so bad, but I've asked for so much help. And it's just so good to be part of this huge family that we have, and everyone's here to help. And I need more help than most, so I appreciate everyone. And I think the last thing I'll leave you with: we got 260 days to our national convention. It's 5,000 people, guys. This is not at the Loan Depot Center this year. This is not at the, somewhere in Vegas where we've had it in the past. This is at the convention center there in Irving. Okay. It's 260 days away. If you have not yet registered for that event, it's free to register. It's free to go. It's free not to go, but you're going to have a problem if you don't register. So please definitely register when you get in there. So I appreciate you guys. I thank very much Family First Life for this opportunity. In many ways, it saved my life. Okay, me getting out of the car business, with my heart challenges and the stress that retail environment, pushes people to. This saved my life. It saved my relationship with my family and my kids. So thank you, Eric Anthony. Thank you, Sean Mike. Thank you, Family First Life. If you guys ever need anything from me personally, or you want me to talk to you more about anything that I mentioned this thing, I'm easy to find on Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook. And I do appreciate everyone on this call. To be honest, I was really nervous about doing this call today. And but I appreciate seeing so many familiar faces on here, and I love you all. Have an amazing day, everyone. Crush it. Bye.